Hello, Atlantia.
Good afternoon, Atlantia. So you can see we're here surrounded by various types of armor. We have an afternoon plan to spend working on armor. We had a fighter practice that had kind of a rain out, and wet armor is no fun when it gets rusty. So we are working on maintenance and keeping our armor from getting rusty. So welcome and joining us today.
Yeah, we're not going to really demonstrate armor cleaning because neither one of us are very good at it.
And it's not a lot of fun for you to watch.
One thing that's interesting, though, every one of the helmets you see here, just as a fun side note, was made by Duke Michael. So
I can't reach that one.
Don't quite know. I don't think I have so much armor from any other one person, but it seems like that is the helmet collection up here. He's loaned his helmet here to Her Majesty to use for combat archery, and I intend to use it for rapier. So
thank you, Your Grace.
Fencing, yeah. So we will go that way. Okay. So yesterday we had university, a smashing success. It was a fabulous day. I think that it surpassed all expectations. We thought it was going to be good. But we had no idea how great it would be. Between the staff of university and the tech team that put it together, and all of the instructors from across the known world, and I think students from across the known world, it was a fabulous day. I don't know if we ended up crossing 700 students altogether, but I know the number was right around 690 at one point. So an absolute fabulous day. And lots of requests for continuing this type of format for university even afterwards. People really have said that, wow, can't always travel, but I can always take a couple hours off and get the class I wanted to see. Can't always be off work for that day. It isn't always convenient, but always could take a little time afterwards and do that. So nothing but positive reports from university.
It was great. It was great to see people that we hadn't seen in a long time. I'm going to give a special call out to Master Gregory Blount, who was my instructor for the resources for dance class. And Anton and I actually gave Master Gregory his laurel, our third ring. So he's out on the West Coast now. Great to see him.
He even remembered who you were.
He did. He did. That was great. I probably look a little different, maybe. So today we want to give a very special thank you to Lady Scholastica Joy Coors. For those of you who don't know, Lady Scholastica has been reading the 1001 Arabian Nights. She's been reading an hour every day from those. You can find that on Virtual Atlantia. And she's also been reading an alliteration adventure time for kids, for children. Again, an hour every day. So she's been doing this almost since the beginning of when we had to close everything down. She was like one of our first people to step up to the virtual, starting line and start everything going. So Lady Scholastica, thank you so much for everything you've done by getting us going with the stories.
And though I normally make that announcement, because I like to, a vote by Her Majesty pretty well assumed that I would do terrible things to that name, therefore I wasn't allowed to do it. So
there's some truth. There's some truth in that. So the other thing I want to thank everyone, this has been, for at least Atlantia, it's been a fairly quiet week, and what we've seen demonstrated from our people is kindness and thoughtfulness and mindfulness. And given our missive that we sent out, we want to thank all of Atlantia for really supporting that.
Being kind to each other. We don't have to all agree, but we can be nice. Thank you. So got a lot of questions this week also about where is WOW? How is the planning of WOW going? What do we think is going to go on at WOW? Is WOW the place that we're going to open up and have all the events? And are we going to need 300 scrolls at WOW? We hope so.
Oh.
But we don't know. Right now, with talking with the Seneschal and talking with the autocrats, August 1st to August 15th, in that time period, is the time that the kingdom is going to make a decision to go forward with WOW or not. Now, in that time period is where we run up against the clock with certain of the providers for necessities for the event, contractors that we use. They need 6 to 8 weeks to be ready if we're going to put on an event of that size. Also, the county health department and emergency services, there's a meeting in the first part of August with them to review the current status. And so that's really the time that we're going to say, I believe we're going to have our decision made. Now, that being said, we continue to spend resources to be ready for WOW. Although what we're trying to do, just like we've talked about before, is make sure what we're spending on now is either monies that will be reused in the future, or were available, the services can be canceled without penalty. So, but after August 1st, that becomes a little more serious from a financial side. Also, we are mindful that even if we say WOW is going on August 15th, if the Seneschal comes back and says, yes, we're a go, met with the county, everything is good, the numbers are improved, and we have the support of the state, as well as it looks like the rest of the kingdom is going to be in good shape to do that, then we're going to say yes. But it could also turn. We just can't make promises. I wish we could. If anybody there knows a way for us to do it, that would be great, but given this environment. But our decision time period for WOW is between August 1st and August 15th. And that's from working with the autocrats, who have been incredibly challenged by this whole situation, to put it mildly. And then the financial committee and the Seneschal. They've all been working together on it, and it's a labor. It really is, because normally we would have a lot of things put in place by this time. We just can't do it in this environment.
So read the blurb. WOW, coming to you October 2020, subject to change, courtesy of COVID-19. So many of you have expressed your appreciation and enjoyment of these weekly messages that we're doing. And many of you have said that you feel like it's an opportunity to get to know His Majesty and I a little better, since we can't talk to you in person, at least not right now. So we're going to take that a little step further today, and we're going to get back in the Wayback Machine, and we're going to tell you about our very first SCA events.
We don't have a lot of news this week.
We don't. So we're going to give you some background, and His Majesty's going to start.
No, you're going to
start.
Oh,
I'm going to start. Okay, so my very first event was EMIR in 1987. Klaus and Q5, Count Klaus and Countess Q5, were king and queen, so they were my very first king and queen. I believe it was at Snow Camp. I am not 100% certain, so if somebody was there and you can have a better memory than me, please feel free to let me know. But I do remember that it was EMIR. I had been in the SCA almost 2 months at that point. So I was very brand new, and I think I wore a borrowed tea tunic. Very snazzy.
That's it?
That's it. That was my first event.
My story is a little more dramatic.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure it was.
Right. So I'd been in the SCA maybe 6-7 months, going to my first event. I'd been to a baronial party, which wasn't an event, and at that party, there was some roughhousing going on, and I got my knee blown out. Not fighting, not any SCA activities, just ridiculous behavior from all of us. No finger pointing at all. So at that point, I'd been pretty well adopted by Master Eldred and Mistress Claire. And when I mean adopted, is they would get in their VW microbus and drive to where I lived in Hillsborough, pick me up in my wheelchair, and take me to things. They came by, picked me up for 12th night, and we tootled down to Charlotte, North Carolina, to a big 12th night that was down there. Ole and Azzy were king and queen, and I knew nothing about the SCA other than what I'd learned from Capellenberg meetings and going over to Tom and Tracy's, or Claire and Eldred's house, for all types of counseling sessions. Claire had made me a wonderful tunic. I still have it. still wear it. And I had no idea who all these people were, and it was really quite overwhelming. Spent most of the day calling this long-haired guy who was dressed in, if I remember right, it was a green and black coat hardy, and he was tooling me around, pushing me in my wheelchair, introducing me to people, and I kept my lording him that, thanking him for that, and asking him if he'd get me something to drink. Lo and behold, a little later on in the evening, that same guy sitting up in the big chair in the middle, Ole, I didn't know, had taken pity on this guy who couldn't walk and didn't know anybody. And he took me around, introduced me, never once corrected me in who he was, never once told me who he was. Just, here, let me get you. Let me move you around. So that was my introduction to Atlantia. That was my introduction to the SCA. And that was my first training as king, is our newest people are our most important people. AOA is our most important award. I learned those things from Ole. And really love my Grand Knight.
Thank you, Your
Ole.
Grace.
That's all I got, because I don't want to cry.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Really, Atlantia, that's all we have for you this week. It was great, again, talking with you and coming to you live from our Armor Emporium here, where we'll be spending the rest of the afternoon trying to bring stuff up to scratch.
Yeah, I think most of it's mine.
There is that. Yeah, we have a date later with Their Grace's Kuhn Insigne to work on my body armor for combat archery. So we'll be doing that later today.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Atlantia.